Welcome to 3 Minute Thoughts. So last night I watched The Man Who Killed Don Quixote. Came out in 2018 and it's a Terry Gilliam film and I rather liked it. And there'll be maybe some spoilers, so I'm going to review it. Now this was the latest film by Terry Gilliam, who's also done movies like Brazil, Fisher King, and then my favorite of his is The Adventures of Baron Munchausen. He's got a very offbeat, quirky style that tends to add cartoony aspects to his movie at points. And it's very theatrical. Things that actually look like sets. This movie had those elements. And it did have an interesting point where, again, I'm mentioning spoilers, the character Toby starts to descend into madness and he becomes an unreliable narrator. So you start seeing what he sees. And I like how that was done. I didn't like the dream sequence, just for the fact that it was a dream sequence. But I like how, all throughout the movie, you slowly see these things pop up that he only sees. This does raise questions. I like the first 20-30 minutes of the movie, they could have done a lot better. It's very slow paced. I get they're trying to establish all this backstory for setup for later in the movie. But it just felt it could have been done. Like the rest of the movie is after, as soon as you meet Don Quixote, the movie is great after that. Until then, it's just kind of a slow plodding setup, which I wasn't a fan of. And then there's little plot points, little quibbles I had. Probably not enough to even mention them. Maybe at some other point I'll talk about. So one thing I like doing is looking at if the hero or the main character was not there, what other characters be doing make sense. Yeah, there were some actions that I would say, why did that character do that? The hero that Toby just encounters upon. What were they trying to do? But one thing I did want to talk is an amazing thing about this movie is he's been working on making this movie for 30 years now. It's had several failed attempts at being made, including I think it was around 2002 they made a documentary about the failure to make this movie. That's kind of impressive. And then several names have been tied to it, like Johnny Depp, which I cannot imagine. I guess Johnny Depp would be the Toby character. I don't know what character he'd be, but he's perfectly not suited for this. Adam Driver, who helped make this movie type of thing. He helped fund it, but he was also the perfect straight man for the character Toby. That worked well. And then I think whoever played Don Quixote had been in Brazil, which that I felt like is a good little bookend for Terry Gilliam, is having an actor from one of his first films that made him famous, even though he was famous before then, but one of his first films now in his last film. Although he could still make more films. Not saying he's dead or anything. But overall, yeah, I'd say it's good. It's worth watching. It's an interesting modern retellization of Don Quixote. And I'm going to leave it at that. I liked it. It's worth watching. If you like Terry Gilliam, definitely watch it. When you get through the first 20-30 minutes, just don't go I've seen 5 minutes of this, I'm not interested in this anymore. It's worth the watch. And those are my thoughts. Have a good day.